This is the Christmas Movie Screenwriter Podcast, episode number 14. Hello and welcome to the Christmas Movie Screenwriter Podcast. This is a podcast about writing, producing, and selling Christmas movies. I publish a transcript with every episode in case you want to take a look at something or read it later. Just go to the website at www.christmasmoviescreenwriter.com and look for this episode, which is number 14. A quick few words about what I'm working on. My new Christmas movie, Merry Heistmas, is done, and I'm contacting producers now. Also, my new venture into faith-based films is going well. I should have my first script ready this week. I'm also toying with the idea of changing my latest action thriller, which is set to be shot in Italy, into a Chinese-Italian co-production. Some of you may know I went to school in Hong Kong and China and worked in the Hong Kong film industry. When I got back to the U.S., the China market had somewhat cooled. However, reading the news about Film Mark this week, I think there could be some potential there. I'll let you know how it turns out. I'm also adding a Buy Me a Coffee button on my website. So if you like the content and want to let me know, check out my Buy Me a Coffee button. Today's guest is Sapna Vyas, Vice President of Lifetime Scripted Content. She talks about how to add originality to your Christmas script, and she's upbeat about the Christmas movie market. And she ends on a refreshing note on how Lifetime doesn't want a lot of stuff in development. They want to make what they look at. Here is the main segment. Sapna Vyas currently serves as Vice President, Scripted Content for Lifetime. Based in Los Angeles, Vyas, who worked for the network in 2008, is responsible for developing and overseeing feature and original movies. This is Vyas's fifth year overseeing the network's It's a Wonderful Lifetime holiday movie slate. She simultaneously acted as the lead executive on titles such as Ladies of the 80s, A Diva's Christmas, starring Lonnie Anderson, Morgan Fairchild, Linda Gray, Donna Mills, and Nicolette Sheridan, and Yes, Chef Christmas, starring Tia Mowry and Buddy Valastro, who also executive produced, and Luke Humphrey. Prior to Lifetime, Vyas was in scripted development at the CW network, where she worked alongside the teams responsible for Gossip Girl, 90210, and The Vampire Diaries. She began her career in the TV Lit department at Creative Artists Agency. In 2016, Vyas was selected to participate in the Women in Cable Television's Rising Women in Cable Leadership Program. Originally from Chicago, Vyas graduated from the University of Illinois with a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. She received a fine arts degree from the Nataraj Dance Academy. Well, Sapna, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here to chat.
Thank you. Well, this is one of my favorite subjects, and I'd love to get, your story. So I told the audience a little bit about you, but why don't you take a minute and tell us about yourself and your business?
Sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm currently an executive at Lifetime. Lifetime has been a wonderful home for me, part of A&E Networks for almost 15 years now. And I've had a great experience, great opportunities, great mentors, teachers, and love what I do and get to work with wonderful people.
Oh, you've got the right attitude. Now, recently, Lifetime grabbed attention for its unconventional holiday announcement about its latest movie, A Cowboy Christmas Romance, which features a sex scene. Can you elaborate on the network strategy in pushing boundaries and embracing an atypical narrative for Christmas movies?
Sure. I think everybody, the press out there for Cowboy Christmas Romance is really exciting. We've worked with Sarah Drew, the writer, and Jana Kramer, who stars as well, for a handful of years here at Lifetime, both in Christmas and non-Christmas films. And we've always sort of encouraged our storytellers to be bold, be authentic, and be true to life. And so I would say A Cowboy Christmas Romance, and we have pushed boundaries in other films prior, but I would say this one really got, the buzz.
Right.
And I do feel there's a level of, this is a family drama at its core. This is relationships. And also we are wanting to be the ones who are telling the stories where maybe others aren't,
Right.
And so it felt true to the story, true to the characters, and we're very proud of the film.
Well, it was very refreshing And it's, I'd love to see more of that. Uh,
Good.
speaking of that, is Lifetime open to exploring scripts that blend Christmas with unconventional genres? For example, A Christmas Heist, which offers a new twist to holiday themed content.
I think we're always open, and I think that's how we navigate the films that do get made, right? There's such a volume of ideas around this
Right.
space and this genre. And I think turning the dial up, even if it's just a touch, right? Whether it's a setting, a type of character, an unexpected, conflict, a surprise. I think we're always looking for creativity that's going to feel like, I don't think I've seen that before. And I think
Right.
we've been doing that for a long time. I think we were the first to feature in A Christmas Setup in 2020, an LGBTQ romance at the center. We were the first to feature a Chinese American family in Sugar and Spice Holiday.
Right.
We were the first to sort of tell a story set in Mexico that had a bilingual sort of Spanish English dialogue and a full all Latino cast. And I think again, like we want to start from the concept. We want to start with the authentic story that feels like, have we seen this? Have we not? And if we've seen it, because a lot of these movies have similar themes, as
Right.
we celebrate those similarities, I think. But again, what's going to make it feel a touch fresh? So a heist movie at Christmas, let's see.
Okay. Yay. So, how do you find scripts? Do you tend to hire WGA or non-union writers?
We work with everybody. I think our partners, writers, directors, executive producers, we work with a lot of great folks, and I think it's always comes down to your idea, your quality of your script, and
Good.
but we are open. We are open to hearing ideas, and we know there's a passion for these movies. So
there's a huge audience and it's growing. Or do you think the audience is or the market is getting oversaturated?
I think there's been a lot. I do think generally content creation, it's more than we've ever seen across all genres and platforms. But I think it's about meeting the consumer where they are, knowing that they're going to want to watch when they want, how they want, where they want. So, the traditional, we are still, the traditional Saturday night or Sunday night movie premiere on Lifetime, but there's such a life to these movies. Like that's just
Right.
that's just the onset, that's just like a piece of the whole story these films get to have. They get to come back year over year. They get to go to Fast,
Right.
Digital, Lifetime Movie Club, other streamers and platforms. So like the beginning is just the beginning. And then it's so great to see like the years and years that these movies have that people find for the first time, and maybe it wasn't the year that we made it, but it's still, so that's what I love. I do love that there's a longevity to our films and when and how the consumer is going to find them.
That's great. Now, what is your ideal budget for a Christmas movie?
I think it ranges, I think any concept and story we look at, it can range from, a couple $100,000 to like a couple millions of dollars. It really comes down to what are the elements of this story? What are the locations? Is there music? Is there no music? Is it a big ensemble or is it a two-hander? So I think it really just comes down to what are the realistic means to tell this story?
Now, Christmas movies sometimes get a bad rap for being a little cliche. So, how important is originality in a Christmas TV movie script? And what advice would you give to screenwriters looking to put a unique spin on a well-loved holiday theme or trope?
Yeah, I think again, it's this duality. Like there's something this is about tradition. It's a time of year that is built in traditions. But at the same time, how do we as a consumer and a viewer feel this is fresh, this is different, I haven't seen this way into it, or like this character, and I do recommend finding what your unique angle is. I'm not saying the whole movie needs to be a complete departure of the genre, unless that's your story, which is wonderful, but just to say yeah, we do look for originality,
Good.
and how do you differentiate your film feeling not like like there's so many Christmas movies, you
Yeah,
know, but
exactly.
yet at the same time, people do love watching the same Christmas movies every year, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's the nostalgia factor of like, but that's my favorite Christmas movie. I watch it every year, and that's great too. So it's a fine line, to find that originality when you're built in so much tradition.
Exactly.
That's also desired. So
Exactly. Now, if you could give advice to your younger self about producing Christmas movies, what would that be?
that's a really good question.
Thank you.
Have fun. I mean,
Have
enjoy.
fun.
I do think there's like, yes, we're in a business. Yes, we are all, but have respect for each other and this is a fun space to be in, to tell these stories and enjoy the collaboration that you get to have with so many intelligent, smart, driven people.
Now, is most of your mandate Christmas movies, or you're also doing the female-led thrillers? So, what
Yeah,
what would you say?
so Lifetime is in our team, our original movies team. We are about 45 to 50 original films a year, pretty much a premiere every weekend if you think about it. So we are primarily, storytellers in true crime and what we call rip from the headlines. And we also, tell we have musical biopics, we have biopics, we have what we call teens in trouble films about, what could happen to, a parent's worst nightmare. So
Right.
we have a lot of lanes, and I think again, story and concept and a strong script, um, always always the beginning, right?
Okay.
Always the beginning of any story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what is the best way for screenwriters to connect with you and submit their ideas or scripts?
Well, so we partner with a lot of folks, right? So we get a lot of our submissions via our production partners, and studio partners, who are actually our partners who are, executing these films on the ground
Hmm.
and providing services. And we also get ideas sent through agents and managers and that route. And I think um, that's the primary way that we're getting an incoming of ideas and submissions.
When you said you have like 45 to 50 original movies a year, are you talking Christmas movies, or is that and
Talking all the genres.
oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot. You are busy.
And then we have another division too of films that come in and get curated by another film division. So we're at a lot of movies a year. So I do find a lot of value that, most of the things that we look at and collaborate with these writers on, um, we have the intention to go make these movies. We don't necessarily want to just sit in development. Like there is a need for programming, there's a need to hit an air date, there's a need to really make things of quality as it fits these different buckets and lanes of the different times of years that we're looking for something.
Okay, wow, that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to share any links or social media details so our audience knows how to keep track of your work?
That's a really good question that I don't have, except if you have my LinkedIn,
Okay.
that would probably be the best.
Okay. Wonderful. And then do you have you want to promote or plug any movies that are coming up?
Well, I just want to say we've been really excited about, I think every year, Lifetime and It's a Wonderful Lifetime and all the holiday movies. And I think we're just really proud of our diversity efforts in front of and behind the camera. I've been at this network for 15 years. There's a lot, again, authenticity in our creatives and, who's telling these stories, who's starring in these stories, and who's directing these stories. And this is the whole package. And I think we we want our viewers to come to Lifetime looking for that holiday spirit, but also looking for something that they can't find anywhere else. So how do you honor the sort of traditional the traditional holiday movie while finding the nuances and finding what makes our stories a little bit different? And I guess, I do value our talent, our writers. We've had such great partners, through all this. It takes a village to make these movies.
Of course.
Everyone has their part in it. And to have that sort of camaraderie and collaboration and spirit behind it, it's important. And these are people's livelihoods in creating these films, so honoring that, I think, is really important.
Well, you've got the best job. You've got you're a film executive and you're dealing with such a happy subject of Christmas and family and hope. And I think that's great. Well, Sapna, thank you so much for coming on the Christmas Movie Screenwriter podcast today and sharing your knowledge and your experience. It's been very helpful.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And for my takeaways today, I have 3. Number 1, turn up the dial. If you can dial up the elements in your script, something Lifetime hasn't seen before in terms of setting, character, or unexpected conflict, that will get their attention. Lifetime was the first to have an LGBTQ romance in a Christmas setup, and the first to feature a Chinese-American family in a sugar and spice holiday. Now, how do you do this? Sapna suggests you start with an authentic story and figure out what is your unique angle. Number 2, is the market oversaturated? Sapna says there's more Christmas movies now than ever, but these films go the extra mile. They can be played year after year, so someone new to the genre can discover them. And these movies can go on to FAST channels, to Lifetime Movie Club, or other streamers and platforms. So there's still a big need for these movies. Number 3, get it done. A refreshing thing Sapna mentioned is Lifetime doesn't want a lot of films in development. They intend to make what they look at. They need to hit those air dates. Well, that's the show. Thank you for listening. To show your support, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. And sign up to be notified of the launch of our membership website. This is where writers will have the opportunity to pitch producers their Christmas scripts. Just go to www.christmasmoviescreenwriter.com and look for the sign up button in the toolbar. I'm your host, Caryn McCann. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next Christmas Movie Screenwriter podcast. Bye.